Certain players have the ability to turn an ordinary match into a true spectacle. It seems like, well, all goals are ordinary, but they are not. Some players seem to deliberately do things that deeply irritate their opponents. Whether it's a backheel goal through the legs or a display of evasive dribbling towards the goal. And really, who wants to be humiliated in front of a million viewers? And in this video, I will talk about the most humiliating goals in the history of football. Well, folks, before starting the video, I ask you to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, activating the bell so you don't miss the next video. Have a good video, and let's go. And our video is presented by Correa. At the end of the game, the goalkeeper Chateaubriand ran to the corner in an attempt to equalize the score. The corner kick led to nothing, and after the opponents cleared the ball, the goalkeeper was in no hurry to return to the goal. At a certain moment, the ball reached the feet of the player Concarlo, who kicked it away, and the ball ended up at the feet of Correa. However, the player from the Ivory Coast did not want to score a simple goal into the empty net. So Herman approached the goal line, got down on all fours, and provocatively rolled the ball into the empty net in front of the goalkeeper Chateaubriand. And now, look at the goalkeeper. Notice that he couldn't resist what the Ivorian did. Chateaubriand's teammates quickly wanted to intervene, but their path was blocked by the referees and Correa's teammates. In short, the goal scored triggered a mass brawl involving players from both teams. This goal resembles street football more than professional. Although by the rules, this is certainly not prohibited. It is much more rewarding to leave opponents bewildered with your skills. And that is exactly what Christopher Nkunku demonstrated. The Frenchman received a magnificent pass from Guardiola and then easily went past the goalkeeper. But Nkunku didn't stop there and with a fake dribble, made the Hanover defender roll on the ground out of the field before rolling the ball into the home team's empty net. It would be impressive if Christopher had also finished with a backheel into the empty net. However, of course, the Frenchman didn't think of that to avoid humiliating the Hanover players. Now, I'm insisting that the player is good, but now he made a mistake and, actually, Leipzig's second attack starts with his mistake. It has to end, and that's what Christopher does. And Tunko, do now. The one who really wanted to impress the crowd was this Slovenian player. Facing the goalkeeper one-on-one, Nino could simply place the ball in the unprotected corner, but that would be too boring. So Nino performed a trick typical of football simulators. He certainly impressed the spectators. Everyone was amazed by Nino's goal. However, I doubt the opponents liked it. They were already losing 4-1 at that moment, and still conceded the fifth goal scored in that manner. Almost all La Liga defenders have a dislike for Vinicius Jr., but who would like to be dribbled past multiple times by a skilled Brazilian in a single game? As they say, it's their problem, but in the game against Celta, Vini not only annoyed the players but also the fans. Initially, he darted away like a rocket from a pair of Celta defenders. And when he approached the goalkeeper, he decided not just to evade to the side, but to do so with a dribble. And it worked perfectly. The Brazilian dribbled past the goalkeeper and calmly placed the ball into the home team's net. In celebration, he decided to celebrate his goal right in front of the fans' faces. I agree, the celebration was typical, but probably the Celta fans were more furious about the goal than the celebration. Some fans said after the game that they wanted to break his legs. Others wanted him to dedicate himself to freestyle football. Anyway, I think you already know what happens after every away game involving Real Madrid. JJ Okocha is a legend of African football. Obviously, many did not have the opportunity to watch this great Nigerian player in action, but now I will show you an incredible episode featuring him. In 1993, Eintracht was playing against Karlsruhe. JJ leaves the goalkeeper on the ground with a dribble, leaves the defender bewildered, then performs some fake dribbles and shoots into the unprotected corner of the goal. It seemed like Okocha was playing against children. The 23-year-old in goal looked helpless. Did you recognize the guy in goal? Yes. It's the legendary Oliver Kahn, the nightmare of all the world's strikers except, of course, the buck-toothed Ronaldo. That conceded goal is still considered the most humiliating in Kahn's career, but it's no wonder that after that, no player in the world dared to mock Oliver. By the way, in 2020, Jurgen Klopp stated that this goal was the best in the entire history of the Bundesliga. And once again La Liga, once again Celta, and this time the Brazilian Neymar. Receiving a pass from Messi, Neymar shot to the far right corner. However, the Brazilian did something incomprehensible. It seems to be a standard shot, but he hit it as if he were trying to make an assist. In summary, it resulted in a goal that was not only magnificent, but also quite original. The goalkeeper could only turn his head back and watch the ball calmly land in the net of his goal. There was no more time for reactions. Messi Inter. Messi, good football from Barca once again. Messi Inter, Neymar. It's a stunner. What an incredible goal by FC Barcelona. The Mexican player Carlos Vela had already shown in La Liga, but perhaps his best goal in his career was scored at the end of his career in an MLS match. He first passed the ball to a teammate, but then did something surreal. He dribbled past one opponent, got rid of a second defender, dribbled the goalkeeper on the ground, then went past a third defender, and provocatively finished into the empty net of San Jose. And that goal was the cherry on top of everything Vela did that season. Zlatan Ibrahimovic claimed that he would break all the MLS records, but that was not meant to happen, as even last year, he lost the top scorer race to Carlos Vela, with 49 actions in 32 matches for the 30-year-old player. Agreed. It's impressive. Claudia Esford, the Clardy in this, and Ghana Lu C, and very old. She has formed, and there she. Last month, Bayern played a friendly match against Rotterdam Egern. From the beginning, the entire game was a big joke. Everyone was surprised when the game ended with Bayern's victory by 27-0. And you didn't hear wrong? The Bavarians scored 27 unanswered goals in 90 minutes of play. In fact, any goal scored seemed comical and absurd for the losing side. But probably the most incredible moment of all came with Sabitzer, when in one of the plays, he decided to finish, with a backheel to the opponent's goal. As I said, each goal shows the incredible difference in the level of the players. There were feints, dribbling through the opponent's midfield, and all kinds of long-distance shots that the goalkeeper just watched. It's simpler to say that it was 90 minutes of humiliation for Rotterdam Egern. On the other hand, the German player, Najin Amiri, on one occasion, unsettled Eintracht's defensive structure by receiving a pass from a teammate. Amiri passed the ball through a defender, spun 360 degrees, and still managed to mock the goalkeeper by backheeling the ball directly between his legs. Clearly, Najin wasn't trying to score such a humiliating goal, but everything worked out due to excellent technique and perhaps a bit of luck. Now let's talk about the two legends, Ronaldo and Messi. Let's start with Lionel. Messi's favorite finishing move is the chip shot. In the 2012 season, he scored a dozen goals in this style. However, the most humiliating was scored in March 2012, in a match against Sevilla. Messi received a pass from Iniesta and then, with a subtle touch, played the ball through the defender's legs. Then, he left the goalkeeper helpless, lobbing the ball over his head and hands. It's no wonder that this goal was voted the best of March, and also competed for the Goal of the Year title in the Spanish league. Now let's move on to the Portuguese. Cristiano Ronaldo runs toward Vela. Then he cuts, leaving Piqué behind, and shoots the ball over Casillas' head. A genius goal from both Messi and Cristiano. Both geniuses scored similar goals, but Ronaldo had a bit of bad luck. Nani stopped the goal and ended up in an offside position, which prevented Cristiano's brilliant goal from being validated. The goal didn't happen, but I didn't include this play for nothing, because Ronaldo never did anything similar again. And the way he destroyed the defense of the best team in the world at that time is simply impressive. As for Paul George, it seems he saw Herrmann's trick and repeated it a year and a half later. Leaving the goalkeeper and the defender behind, Paul George had a clear option: to roll the ball into the empty net. But like a true king, he controlled the ball to the line and headed it into the Rams' net. But there is a difference. Herrmann did this in the round of 64 of the French Cup, and his goal practically went unnoticed, while Entep did it in Ligue 1 in front of a crowd in France, sparking heated debates. Some said it was unsportsmanlike, and under normal circumstances would deserve a yellow card, while others, on the contrary, praised him and said he seized the chance to enter the history of French football as the author of the most provocative goal in the history of the championship. Ronaldo phenomenon loved to mock opposing defenses. I will talk about the Brazilians' goal against the Lithuanian national team. First, Ronaldo caught a defender in a mistake, and then lobbed the ball over the goalkeeper. A difficult angle, and two opponents running. What to do? The only option is to shoot from that position. But no, Ronaldo simply gave a subtle touch to the ball, passing by the goalkeeper and the defender. Both fell towards the goal, while the Brazilian calmly scored into the empty net. From an outsider's perspective, this seemed extremely humiliating. However, blaming the Lithuanian players is pointless, as no goalkeeper or defender on the planet could handle Ronaldo's genius. Ronaldinho came from far behind. Look at Ronaldinho. The retreat. Go Ronaldinho. Fought for the ball. Won against the goalkeeper. Then Ronaldinho did the feint. And let's end the video with a goal scored by Ross Barkley. In the last seconds of the match, the Englishman received a pass and ran towards the opponent's goal. Ross handled the ball, approached the goalkeeper, and with a single move, left the goalkeeper and the Bournemouth defender out of the play. He found himself in front of the empty goal, but instead of simply rolling the ball in, Barkley spread his arms provocatively and began celebrating the goal that hadn't been scored yet. Only afterwards did he push the ball into the net. Probably, the Bournemouth players didn't pay attention to the Everton midfielder's act of arrogance, but upon reviewing the game, they would hardly have liked Barkley's behavior. Well, folks, this was today's video. If you've watched, up to this point, I ask you to comment on what you thought of the video. Again, remember to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and activate the bell to support our work. That's it, and I'm out.